Aang should have taken Ozai's head off in the finale, and Nickelodeon were a bunch of cowards for not letting him do it. There is no such thing as a perfect show, and as much as I love Avatar: The Last Airbender, it has its flaws like any other. The Great Divide episode, this moment with Iroh, Haru's mustache, and probably the most universally disliked moment in the series is this one, where an Aang who's torn up about potentially killing the Fire Lord has a perfect lion turtle shaped solution fall into his lap right before the final confrontation. This scene was the equivalent of someone being handed the answers to a test the night before after they spent the entire term slacking off. It felt unearned, lazy, and silly, unbecoming of the quality of writing that Avatar had established. But what if it hadn't happened? What if Aang hadn't encountered the lion turtles and was forced to actually find the answer for himself? What if he had to decide whether he should kill Ozai? Kill him! That's what I would say. And before we get into it, guys, be sure to subscribe if you like the content. It helps with the channel a lot. And also, disclaimer, we're not considering real-world constraints like Avatar being a kids show in today's discussion, just what's good for the story. So when we're thinking about whether to kill Ozai, I think you need to consider in-universe reasons like does it make logical sense for Aang to do so as the Avatar for the sake of the world, and also writing reasons like does it make thematic sense for the series. So let's start with in-universe. When is it justified for someone to die? It's a question that comes up repeatedly in fiction from Punisher to Batman, and it's usually presented with depth. But here, depth isn't really necessary. On the scale of innocent to deserving of death, Ozai is literally Fire Hitler. When he fights Aang, he's in the process of executing a genocide, and is generally shown to be a remorseless, sociopathic monster. He scarred Zuko's face to teach him honor, killed his own father, and generally has zero qualms with any of the atrocities committed by the Fire Nation throughout the show. He's a great villain, and if you disagree, go watch my Ozai video, which might change your mind. Ozai was the primary perpetrator of an offensive war that killed a ton of people. He could have stopped it at any time, as we see when Zuko just stops it. But he doesn't, because Ozai's freaking nuts. Killing Ozai would be similar to killing the Joker or Voldemort. Beyond its logistical implications, it's the right thing to do, because it's justice. Ozai was directly and indirectly responsible for so many deaths throughout the series. It would be fitting for him to die on the battlefield as well. But okay, you might say the Avatar isn't God. He isn't a judge or jury. Does he even have the right to decide who lives and dies? This is an interesting point, but it's one that doesn't really matter, because honestly, Aang needed to kill Ozai. It wasn't just justice. It was necessary. It was necessary because Aang was about to lose. Throughout the final fight, Aang is not doing great. He's on the defensive, running around, just trying to avoid his own destruction. Ozai is the strongest firebender in the world on massive Sozin's Comet steroids, and Aang is a half-realized avatar who'd only mastered 2 elements. He doesn't even have access to the avatar state. Aang had one single opportunity in this fight to end it, when he redirected Ozai's lightning. But he didn't take it. And that should have been a fatal mistake. If this rock hadn't decided to become a chiropractor, he would have been finished. He would have died right here. Aang's victory is pure luck. He doesn't beat Ozai through his own strength, not really. Which is why when Aang does have that decisive shot, when he has the opportunity to end the war, he's got to take it. And even if that weren't true, even if Aang could have beaten Ozai without Rock Ex Machina, what if he'd refused to kill the Fire Lord and he'd escaped? What if he'd kept burning the Earth Kingdom to the ground? What if he'd run away and commanded his armies from the shadows? The surest way to stop Ozai's influence and the accompanying carnage is to kill him. Maybe he'd become a martyr, but who cares? The Fire Nation seems to just go along with whatever the Fire Lord says, as evidenced by them just accepting the shady circumstances of Ozai's rise to power. If you kill Ozai and supplant him as Fire Lord, the majority of the country would probably go along with it. Leave him alive, however, and his influence could remain. And also, if you can't take away his bending, what are you going to do with Ozai? Does anywhere in the world have the infrastructure to hold a firebender of his caliber? The Fire Nation was the most technologically advanced country in the world, and their most sophisticated prison was the Boiling Rock. But if you put Ozai there, I'm pretty sure he'd firejet out of there easier than Bumi broke out of Amashu. And even if they did somehow manage to contain him, Ozai would definitely at least try to escape. What if he killed the guards every time he made an attempt, like the way Shikaku and Gyuki continuously killed their guards in Naruto? Would keeping Ozai alive be worth the lives of the guards? I don't think it would be. Okay, so we've talked about the in-universe logic for killing him, but let's think about the characters for a second. I think that killing Ozai would be incredible for Aang's character. Let me explain. In my opinion, Aang's primary character flaw is that he runs away from his responsibilities. He runs from being the Avatar in the beginning, he's unwilling to sacrifice Katara in the Book 2 finale, he runs away during the invasion, which was probably the right decision, but still. This is the series finale. It's time to stop running. It's time to confront the problem head on. It's time to complete his character arc, from someone unwilling to deal with the world as it comes, to someone who's able to accept reality and make the right decision for the world. Aang needs to prioritize his duties over his obsessions and attachments, like Katara and to his culture. I appreciate that he feels very strongly about his cultural values, especially after learning that they were wiped out. Pacifism is a cool philosophy, but it's not a very realistic one in the context of war. And it's also not one that all the airbenders even followed. Avatar Yang Chen was an air nomad, and she tells Aang that his responsibility as the Avatar supersedes his culture. Not to mention, Monk Gyatso almost certainly killed the firebenders who were attacking him. Gyatso is also really important here. When the airbending masters wanted to raise Aang as the Avatar, Gyatso had coddled him and tried to give him a normal upbringing. But one of the messages of the show is you need to accept your responsibility. Sokka needed to, Iroh needed to, Zuko needed to, Aang needs to as well. It's not just Monk Gyatso who coddles him, it's the writers, because they never force Aang into making a difficult choice. He gets out of the choice of Katara versus the Avatar state, because the only way he can save Katara is the Avatar state. And he gets out of the choice to kill Ozai because a better solution magically appears at his door. Aang killing Ozai would be him becoming a fully realized Avatar, one who's able to truly fulfill their duty to the world. I think above all though, whatever the solution is, Aang needs to earn it. I saw a Reddit comment saying that maybe Aang could have gone to Wan Shi Tong to find a solution and learn energy bending through some books in the library, or that maybe if there had been foreshadowing or whispers of energy bending existing, it would have been okay. And I largely agree. The problem I have with the solution is less so of what exactly happened, but rather of how it happened. Lion turtles were not foreshadowed. They came out of nowhere. It would be cool to kill Ozai, but I honestly wouldn't have had an issue with a well-executed energy bending subplot that had been building throughout the last few episodes of the season. I just think that Aang needed to be forced to make real choices, and the Deus Ex Machina of the finale kind of precluded that. If you liked this video, please consider liking, subscribing, and all that. I make anime and Avatar content twice a week, so come through, enjoy the ride. Let me know in the comments if you think Aang should have killed Ozai or what you want me to cover next, and yeah, until next time.